Hi, I'm Dr. Hale. A bad bite can contribute to anxiety. Anxiety is that feeling of anxiousness, that feeling that you just can't deal with things anymore, stress intolerance. One way to see or to think about how a bad bite can affect this feeling of anxiety is to look at the homunculus. The homunculus is a mapping or a diagram of how much input each portion of the body receives. You'll see that the mouth receives different amount of input than the knee, for example. Let's take a look. So you see from the homunculus that different regions of the body are mapped with more or less input than other regions. Now, if you have a bad bite and the brain is constantly receiving bad input, nociceptive input, pain, if you will, dysfunction, this can cause some major problems to the wiring and to the sensory input that the brain's getting. One way to look at that is just the bandwidth gets eaten up. If you have the sensory input is always having signal input from a bad bite, it doesn't take too long before the bandwidth is all eaten up. So bandwidth is a great analogy to see how the bad bite and anxiety is contributed. Another way to look at it is a traffic jam. It's a common thing, especially in San Antonio. A traffic jam is a very good analogy of what happens to the sensory input when you have a bad bite and how that can contribute to anxiety. Another way to look at how a bad bite can contribute to anxiety is if you have a 2-year-old that's constantly needing your attention. I think we're all familiar with this example. If you have one 2-year-old constantly saying, "Mommy, mommy, mommy," that's going to cause some of your sensory input to be overwhelmed and preoccupied with that. If you have two 2-year-olds, it goes up greatly. Well, if you had 10 2-year-olds, if you had 100 2-year-olds, at some point it wouldn't take long before your system was just overwhelmed with the 2-year-olds needing your attention. So now we see that the 2-year-old is a great analogy of what's going on when you have a bad bite, how that causes anxiety. Conversely, if we have a good bite, we can get everything to calm down, and get the nervous system to calm down, and then we can reduce the anxiety. Thank you.